Today, I want to talk about burnout. Many of us have been there, and the reason I want to talk about it is that back in 2020, I went through a period of a true burnout. And burnout is not just a nice place, and definitely not where you want to end up. And being in a role of a business analyst, or a product owner, or a product manager, where energy, creativeness, constant communications plays a really crucial role, burnout is a topic that just cannot be ignored. Though IT field is meant to be like exciting and inspiring, it's important to acknowledge that burnout is a pretty common issue that many specialists get into. So I'm going to share my story and some tips based on my own experience on how to recover from or avoid burning out. To understand my story, picture this. I was navigating the fast-paced world of IT where competition was crazy and the opportunities were like all around. I shared two roles at that time, a role of a business analyst and a role of a product owner. And I really liked what I was doing. I determined to stand out, so I took on more responsibilities, I put in extra hours, and I worked in an outsourced company that day. So I was involved in a full-time project, and apart from that, I took participation in pre-sales and discovery activities on completely different projects. And apart from that, I enrolled in numerous courses to educate myself, and I scheduled even more activities and commitments for the future me, for the future Vitaly. There were a lot of fun and just plenty of experience, and I really liked that. Well, at first, it seemed like a completely brilliant plan. I was determined to excel, and my hard work didn't go unnoticed, but it wasn't long before I realized that I was on a fast track to burnout. The signs were like all there. Little by little, I started to feel fatigue, then the lack of motivation appeared, and the growing sense of overwhelm. Like, definitely you cannot be happy all the time. Even when you are not burned out, there are different situations and issues that you have to deal with on a daily basis, and you obviously have good and bad days, and this is normal. But look, you can definitely feel when it becomes persistent. And back then I was really creatively exhausted. I started to take a very cynical approach to how I looked at my work and how I looked at my life in some cases. But at the same time, I felt that if I were to scale back the amount of activities or the level of responsibility, I will be letting down the team and people I work with in a very real, tangible way. So as a result, I kind of felt trapped. But instead of taking care of myself, I was telling to myself, like, next month I will just work harder, next month I'll just be more efficient, because normally this is kind of my go-to solution for everything. I just think, if I'm having a tough time right now, if things are stressful, it's my fault because I have been inefficient and I just need to work harder the next time, around the next month. And sometimes it might be true. I always try to become to be like critical about myself, but that's not always the problem. There is often something more fundamental that needs to be addressed, and that was the moment when it like completely hit me. I was burning out, and I definitely needed to do something about it, as burnout wasn't going to get me ahead either in my career or personal life. It was only holding me back. And in my case, I was so focused on getting knowledge, experience, inspiring others that I was not even thought such things might happen to myself. The enthusiasm started to fade away, and instead of thinking like, wow, IT is so exciting, I participate in building products that changing people's life, there were thoughts like, well, okay, I have to do this. And you can feel it really clear when you're burning out. So I decided to make a change. I sought advice from mentors, read books on work-life balance, and implemented strategies to prevent burnout. And let me tell you, it made all the difference. So here's how I got out of my burnout. Firstly, and well, this may not necessarily be viable for everyone, but I did take a break. It looked like the most reasonable point to do at that time. I went on vacation with my family, and this time it was like a real vacation. I strictly made it into a real holiday. I made a conscious effort to just get away from work, like cut the work out of my life completely. And that was the way when I actually relaxed. The second step was prioritizing self-care. I made sure to exercise regularly, eat well, and get enough sleep. And it's amazing how little like me time can recharge your batteries in a short period of time. But those were the things to feel like immediate relief. But I knew that I needed to do something not to fall into same situation again. So as step number 3, I started to set boundaries and cut back my commitments. I learned to say no when necessary, and I promptly began having fresh ideas and found my interest in things returning back to me. Normally with burnout, the sign of new project would have only triggered agitation, but that started to change. So if you're grappling with burnout, your first step should be finding a way to reduce your commitments, to start just breathing again. And believe me, I thought if I'm going to stop working as hard as I was working, everything is going just crash and burn completely. But no, some of the processes started to go slow for sure, but generally the things kept going, and I would just grow a little bit slower, but I accepted it. And what I did to reduce the commitments like the correct way, I sat down with a spreadsheet and performed an analysis of my priorities at work and my personal life. And that is my advice, like willing to make some sacrifices. You need to take it serious. You need to get as much data as you can on those sacrifices, and only after take the final decision about what you want to cut. I realized the importance of having a healthy work-life balance. I started to delegate tasks, ask for help when needed, and made time for hobbies and activities outside of work. And that was absolutely cool. And now, part number 4, I had a huge interest towards self-development, and I was not willing to sacrifice that. But it was obvious that the approach I took before was completely wrong. It was not smart with educating and developing myself, and it had to be changed. So I understood it's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about strategically applying it to advance in your field. It's the real game changer. And it was the point where I started to develop myself with purpose. Don't just learn for the sake of learning. Don't do the same as others do in the field. Instead, I built up a career plan, defined clearly who I want to become, defined like specific points and steps, and build up understanding of what I need to improve to become the person that I wanted to be. Consider the 3 levels of value in the marketplace if you want to do the same. If you are not familiar with the concept, I recently uncovered the details in my video. Like, you can find the link to it in the description below. Understanding those levels of value can be really a game changer in your career path, helping you define key points for growth and development. And I share insights that might just be like a missing piece of puzzle in your growth. So just check it out. And if you're eager to take your career to the next level and need personalized guidance, I can help you. All the information you need is in the description under this video. So as you see, I stood at the edge of burnout, feeling the fatigue, the lack of motivation, the overwhelming pressure. I mean, it's okay to face those challenges, but it's crucial to recognize when it becomes more than just a bad day. You have the power to change your situation, and my example is the proof. Remember, the enthusiasm we bring to IT isn't just about projects or code. It's about the impact we make and lives we touch and the innovations we drive. Don't let burnout to take it from you. Take a moment to reconnect with that passion, that like the initial excitement that drew you into this field. Like, stay inspired, stay resilient, and keep evolving in a smart way. Hope you liked this video and found it helpful, and if so, subscribe not to miss more content, leave comments and questions, and see you soon.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just